Good evening and welcome all of you my podcast, Inspiring Soul podcast with Jabbar Khan. And today I'm very excited to have a very honorable and very knowledgeable guest here with us, Mr. Adam Holbrook. He is John Maxwell certified school leadership trainer and social emotional master. That's really a new thing for me. And he is also author of two amazing books, Character Evolution and How to Give Best Speech Ever. I'm also struggling with speech, and I would love to know how I can give impressive speech. Yes, and these two books, they are showing these books, and he is also a successful entrepreneur who has founded and sold two companies, the latest Culligan Water in 2020. His life mission is to grow continually and add value to the others. This is really inspiring and impressive. Good evening. How are you? And please, if I miss something about your life story or about your introduction, just tell us a bit, and then we will ask you some formal questions about social emotional mastery and all other things.
Amazing. Thanks, Jabbar, for having me today. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I am a social emotional expert master. I work on emotions with teams, schools, and I do it a variety of different ways. We are only as good as our character, who we are as a person. And I have had the most practice out of anyone I know about failing and not being in control of my emotions. That's why I believe I'm an expert on emotions. And I have to be honest with you, Jabbar, when I was younger, my family struggled financially. We always wondered whether we were going to have enough money for food on the table and the stress of paying our bills every single month. So I wanted to get older and I wanted to make lots of money. That's what I wanted to do. So I went out after I put myself through college. I went out and I started my own business because that's how I thought I was going to be successful. And I started a cleaning business, office cleaning, toilets and offices. And I was very good at sales, but I wasn't really good at leading myself. And I wasn't good at leading other people as well. And which caused my life to spiral. I got lots and lots of business, but my role became plugging holes all day, constantly trying to hire new people because I couldn't get good people, or so I thought. I couldn't get good people, but I wasn't a good leader. I wasn't able to lead them, which caused me working almost 100 hours every single week for 3 years. And it made me spiral out of control to the point where I was suicidal. And I didn't want to be here anymore. I thought about driving my car off a cliff and ending my life. And it got to the point where I was just so close to doing it. And, I wrote my suicide note Christmas Eve, 2005. And I wanted to drive my car off a cliff, and I'm drunk. And my dad called me that night. And at that night, he told me he loved me. And we were actually fighting at the time. So that actually caused me to cry myself to sleep. And then the next day I said, all right, I want to sell my business. So after work, I decided to post my business for sale on a site. And within 4 months, my first business sold. And I sold it for $220,000. And I got to tell you, that was great. And I finally had a little bit of money to my name, but I was still a really bad leader, a really bad person. I still was, I got a little bit of money now, but then I started saying, well, why do some people go so far in life and they can manage a classroom, like you're a school teacher, manage a classroom of 100 kids, and then other people cap off and they don't go far in life. And I realized it all comes down to leadership, leading ourselves and leading others. So I started reading books and I started attending conferences and I became a student of leadership. And then in that whole process, I started a second business. I started a bottleless water cooler business. It was a business where I eliminate the jugs that go on top of a water cooler. And I took that business and owned it for 13 years. And I had a very successful business. It was in 3 different states, which is, very, very large in the United States. And Culligan, which is a big water company, had approached me and they wanted to buy my business. And I kept saying no. And then after 3 years of them asking me, after owning it for 13 years, I decided to sell it to them. And I sold it for 7 figures. And the only reason I sold it was because I wanted to live a life of purpose, because I wanted to be able to help other people with the same stuff that I was struggling with when I was younger and I was suicidal and I was failing.
This is really an amazing and very incredible story. So let's start with that thing, social emotional mastery or social emotional master. People usually say that it's emotional mastery or emotional intelligence. Can you simplify this for us? That what is this social emotional master or social emotional mastery, and why you choose this path?
Social emotional mastery is all about being in control of our emotions. It doesn't mean that we are going to suppress our feelings and hold them in, because if it's important enough to you, you should absolutely let another person know how you feel. But it's the reaction that matters. You raise your voice, belittle the other person, argue with them, fight with them. That is where your character is determined. And what we were saying off air is it's very easy to have this knowledge and know that we should not react in that situation, but do we do it when we are challenged? That is the question. And if it's okay, I'd love to share 3 different strategies with your audience of how they can be in control of
Yes,
their emotions.
yes, please.
Okay. The first strategy for managing your emotions when you're dealing with maybe a difficult person is to stop requiring an apology. Stop requiring an apology, because true forgiveness isn't about apologizing or getting another person to apologize. I used to do it with my wife all the time. I used to say, Jabbar used to say, honey, you need to apologize. And she would say to me, for what? And I would be, you know what you did. And then she would say, I'm sorry. You feel that way. And I said, no, 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 no. I want you to not to apologize for my feelings. I want you to apologize for what you did. And it's a vicious cycle. And when we recognize that forgiveness is about ourselves, it's not about the other person. We need to forgive for ourselves, not for the other person. So we can be liberated, we can be free, we can walk down the streets and stop requiring an apology. Because a lot of times, if we talk long enough with anyone, they're going to see it differently than us. Everyone sees the world differently. And many times they didn't want to hurt you, but maybe they did want to hurt you. And I'm not saying you have to hang out with them every day, and you may not even have to be with them ever again, but find boundaries for them and adjust the boundaries accordingly. But stop requiring an apology. That is the first one. How does that feel with you, Jabbar?
I'm feeling great.
Okay, you ready for number 2?
Yes, yes, yes. One is unconditional forgiveness.
Unconditional forgiveness. Wow, I love that. So we need to love everyone, right? I love the idea of loving everyone, but forgiving them for ourselves, not for the other person. So doesn't mean that this is the person that you need to be around every single day, right? If somebody is really hurting you, to the point, I'm not saying you have to be with them, but when you can actually forgive somebody consistently and unconditionally, you're going to feel better about yourself. Because think about when you react to somebody and you rip them apart. That's when your character is determined. Think about that one guy that reacted to you, that one woman that reacted to you. You think about them the same way. They're like, oh, wow, I wonder if they're going to react again to me. So we want to be in control of our emotions. We want to forgive others. Sometimes it's very hard because I deal with this a lot. And people are telling me, how can I possibly forgive someone? They see it this way. And I'll just say to them, look, there's two sides to a story. And I'm not saying that you have to be with them every day. Just find boundaries. What would protect those boundaries? But when you forgive them, you're doing it for yourself. I like it about you. It's about you. It's not about them. Because when you let it go, it's over. It's done. And here's the second one that kind of plays on this is a lot of times we forgive someone and we keep receipts. That's just a play on words, meaning we hang on to it and we wait for the next fight. And we bring the stuff of the past one on top of another. It's called like blame hoarding, I call it, which is you just keep piling it on. And when you get into a fight, you not only argue about that, but you bring up stuff of the past and you keep piling onto it. It's let it go. It's done. Forgiveness is all about yourself. Let it go. It's over. It's done. Now,
Yes.
the most important, the most valuable tool for all of managing your emotions, difficult people, is delaying your emotions. Delaying your emotions. This is so important because sometimes we just want to react to people. We want to like rip them apart. But when you delay your emotions, take a deep breath.
Yes.
You take a deep breath and you know that you delay your emotions this time, the next time will be much easier. So so you delay your emotions the first time, the next time you do it, it's going to be way easier. And I give you an example of this one before we move on is when I was selling my last business. My father-in-law told me, Adam, you have to delay your emotions because the deal looks good, but a lot of things may happen before closing. And if you react to them, the deal will fall through. And when the day had come, the business was going to get ready to sell. They said to me, we want to talk to your largest customer before closing. And I'm like, no way. All along, you said no customer interaction. I said, no way. The deal is off. I didn't suppress my feelings. I told them how I felt, but I didn't react to them like I wanted to. And I walked away from the deal. And then they kept calling me. I couldn't talk to them because I wasn't in control of my emotions. I needed to breathe. I needed to take a moment to be able to catch up with myself and let my emotions play out. And then when finally I did answer the phone, they said, we want to work a deal out with you. And I said, what's that? And they said, we want to wire into a phone call with your customer on the phone. I said, are you going to say anything? No, we're not going to say anything. We just want to know if they're happy with service. So we wired into a phone call and I just asked them if they were happy with service. And just like that, that deal closed for 7 figures by delaying my emotions. That is it, Jabbar. Some thoughts, maybe some feedback sometimes. And look, I'm a work in progress and I may have all the knowledge, but I'm being tested on an ongoing basis day after day. But we are able to get better at this day after day with practice.
Unconditional forgiveness and delay on emotions. This is really interesting and with a lot of factor. I was just thinking about that. How can we delay those emotions in those type of situations? But I was also thinking about taking a deep breath and things like that. And If we practice this continuously, this is really a very pragmatic and very helpful advice. If you can follow.
Jabbar, before we go on, can I share with your listeners a breathing exercise?
Yes, yes, yes. Why not?
Okay,
Sure.
so you're ready to rip somebody apart, right? You're ready, like right. What we're gonna do is the 7-11 breathing technique. Take a
Seven,
deep
11 breathing
7-11
technique.
deep
Yes.
breath in for 7 seconds and exhale for 11 seconds. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That will ground you.
Inhale from the nose and exhale from the mouth.
I didn't understand. Say that again.
Inhale the breath from nose and then we exhale that from the mouth.
Yes, very good pickup. Yes, in through the
Yes,
mouth,
yes.
out through the nose. Yeah, amazing.
Yes. And another question, it is about emotional awareness. How do you define emotional awareness and why it is vital to today's workplace? Actually, this is about the workplace and the co-workers, where you have discussed a lot of things, but those most of those discussion is about the family and about the close relations. But at the workplace, how can we define emotional awareness and how can we exercise these things at the workplace?
Well, number one, the first step is awareness. Awareness is, are we credible for the message that we are living? Many times it's very easy to see other people that are not credible. It's very easy. You could say people are saying they say one thing, but they do the opposite. But are we actually credible for what we are promoting? A lot of times people say, I want peace. I want peace on this planet. But then they answer someone else's hate with more hate. And when
Yes.
you answer hate with hate, what do you get? More hate. You get more hate. So when somebody is hating on you, you can only control yourself. You can't control another person. But
Yes.
I choose to be credible for the message that I'm going to live. If I say to somebody that I'm going to get to you, back to you on Friday, and Friday comes and I don't get back to you on Friday, what happens? You lose, I lose credibility with you. You don't want to hang out with me anymore. You don't trust me again. If I say to you that, let me see, I love everyone, but I answer hate with hate, I'm not really credible for that message. So we want to be credible and we want to be aware. That the whole key is awareness. It's important. It's very easy to see awareness of other people, but what about ourselves? What about ourselves? The hardest person to lead is ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And now let's discuss about the conflict as growth. How can conflict be reformed as opportunity rather than something destructive? This is really very much needed at the workplace, especially.
Yeah. My first thought is that everyone deserves to be led well. But a lot of times we try to be right instead of trying to get it right. Think about, let's think about what leadership is, because a lot of times we don't really define what leadership is. Leadership is about connecting to others and influencing others. And how to influence other people, because we want to influence them so they do a good job for us. In order for us to influence others, it's all about connecting to people, connecting with them on a human level. A lot of times I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to push people around and tell them do this and do that. And I also thought in order to be the best leader that I needed to be the best, the smartest, the fastest, the strongest. But leadership isn't about that. It's really about connecting to people, getting to know them on a personal level, asking them about their weekend, asking them. Anytime I go into a team and work with a team, the first thing I'm doing is not telling them what's wrong with their business. Nobody wants to hear about that. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to have fun exercises on connecting with one another. And I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I'm going to tell you a story how I one time, ripped this guy. I gave a cash advance to this guy, and he didn't. He said he asked me for $1,000. I give him $1,000 for a cash advance, and then he doesn't show up for work. So then I decide I'm going to go to his house and I'm going to rip his air. So I go to his house. I'm banging at his door. He answers the door. I was like, I want my money back. And he's like, I don't have it anymore. So I go into his apartment and I see a window air conditioning unit, and I take the unit and I rip out the air conditioner unit from. I would never do this anymore, Jabbar, but I was not in a good place. But when I share a story of vulnerability, if I share a story of self-deprecation where, I wasn't in a good place, and the lessons that I learned, that will connect to people. If I start talking to you about, I made all of this money and here's all the things that I've done right, I'm the hero. Nobody cares about that. I need to connect with them. And the one way to connect with them is show your vulnerability, but also about asking about them, asking about their families, asking about, what they enjoy to do on the weekends. What did they do on the weekends? A lot of times people are wondering, like, why I'm the smartest person in the company. Why don't I get the promotion? Why did they give it to the other person? Well, that's because they like this person better. Well, you know what? There's a lot of truth to that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So really try to connect with the people, love everyone, connect with them, get to know them. I know we want to get our work done, and there's a lot to get done during the day, but spend a little bit of time getting to know others. Not talk about yourself the whole time, but really about others.
This is really impressive. Now, tell me something about your books, a little bit more about your books.
Great. So my first book is called Character Evolution.
Character Evolution. Is it available on Amazon?
Amazon. Yep. It's available on Amazon, and you can get the hardcover book for, I think it's $17.99 American dollars. And this book is about self-sabotage, managing difficult people. It's about awareness. It's about managing our emotions. It's about forgiveness. It's about managing our frustrations, with a lot of personal stories. It's about how we connect to other people. This book is special. If you're saying to me, like, yeah, if you heard any of this stuff today and you said to me, wow, this is exactly who I am. I want to get further in life. I'm smarter than everyone else, but yet all you do is you're not in control of your emotions. You're not connecting to the staff. This book will give you that direction. This book will give you the tools to have a successful life. And a successful life isn't about working harder on the business. It's working harder on yourself. That's that book. The second book that I wrote, and that one was Character Evolution. And this one's also available on Amazon. This one's called How to Give the Best Speech Ever. And this is it's a tip book. It's got 60 tips in it for public speaking. So you can
I'll surely buy this one.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love this book. This book just came out in May, a couple of months ago. And this book is fun because it's short little tips that will help you deliver a message that's clear, concise, and with passion and purpose. This book is so powerful. And what my suggestion is with this book is, a lot of times people want to read this book fast. No. Read this book, read one tip at a time, and let it sit. in your brain and think about how you can make this part of your next message. This is such an important book. And this isn't just for public speakers. This is for teachers. This is for people that want to advance their career, because communication is the key to advance your career. But the reason why people don't want to do it is because it's scary. Speak
Yes.
is scary. And that's why they don't want to improve. But if you want to advance your career, your influence, and have greater success, it's all about our communication skills. And this is the book for that.
This is really amazing. No, I was thinking that you have learned all this with a long and very tough journey. And as I'm a teacher, and I want my students to learn these things in the very early age. How can we teach students to handle all these emotional and conflict issues in the very early age? How can they develop some habits like that? They should not have such long and tough journey.
Yes, students are my favorite. I love middle school to high school. What grade do you teach?
I teach English and some other subjects also, but English is my major.
Okay. Yeah. How you teach it is so important, because content isn't really that content isn't going to have people learn. What makes people learn is stories. Stories
Okay.
about when you were challenged. If you're this is how I teach my programs, is all through stories about when I wasn't so good and when I
Yes.
didn't get it right. And I make them laugh. I make them laugh. They're like, "Oh, that's crazy." And then there's the lesson there. But if I just tell them the lesson and show them through a story, it's not going to go that far. I need to have a breakout session. I need to play a game. I need to bring that lesson to life. And ways to do it is by having them talk about maybe a frustration that they're currently having, and some proactive strategies to do that, to deal with that frustration. I have them do breathing exercises with me. I have them learn. I don't want them just to give them content and a funny story. I need to be not a motivational speaker, but a motivational teacher. And being a teacher is more about than just delivering content. Bring it alive. And when you bring it alive and then you have them practice it, there is nothing better. It will sit, and you will be able to empower them to become better, successful people, because a lot of times they don't have the people around them to learn from. And maybe their moms and dads don't even have those lessons as well. But when they actually hear it, see it, and then firsthand get to try it, that is when you start changing and becoming the best version of yourself.
Yes. Here is a question from in the comments from some guy that if in your experience, what is the biggest mistake new leaders and entrepreneurs make?
Let me understand. In your experience, what's the biggest mistake new leaders make? Yes, they spend their time trying to make changes to the organization first, because they have all these great ideas. They have all these great ideas, and they want to bring them alive. But you know what? You're not going to get the buy-in from your team at that point, because you're the new guy in the position, and your little picture came up. You're a young guy, right? So you have to build credibility with them by spend your time with your people, talking to them. Tell them about an idea that you have, but see what they think about it. Make their ideas valued. And when you have a meeting with your team, say one of their names. Say, "Oh, one of the team members," maybe say Jabbar had thought of this great idea. Even though it was your idea, give the credit away. Give it to them. Like say, Jabbar had this really good idea. I had brought up that we were going to do this activity, but Jabbar said that we probably need to do it this way. Think about that. You slowly start building influence, and the majority of people spend their time when they're in a position with all their great ideas. They're an ideas person. And you're probably in that position because you're really smart and you're really educated. But the connection piece is the first and the most important key to get people to follow you.
Great. I just have two more questions, and we can merge those questions in one question, actually. One is about transformative movements. You have discussed a lot of movements in your life which are transforming. Can you share some? Could you share a powerful success story where emotional mastery completely changed the dynamics of a team or an organization you work with?
Yes. I've been working with an organization for 3 years, and they are an amazing organization. And the sales team, I felt like the sales team could achieve so much more than what they were currently achieving. And the confidence level wasn't fully there. And their emotions, they were in control of their emotions, but they weren't confident enough. And one of the things that I did was I spent time getting to know them again. And then I asked them, I asked the star salesperson, can I work with you for the day? Can I come with you on your appointments? And he says, no, that's not necessary. He didn't trust me yet. And I kept going back. I started connecting with him, asking about his weekend, getting to know him more. Can I come with you? No, still no. And then I kept on asking him more. And I started telling him that I took up, different hobbies. And then I said, let me come with you on one appointment. And he says, okay, I'll go with you on an appointment. And we spend 2 hours on that appointment. And he usually spends like less time, 20 minutes on the appointment. We spent 2 hours talking to this guy about everything going on in his life. And the guy wound up signing the contract because I was leading him through emotional intelligence, getting to know the person, being in control of my emotions, but also not do as I say, not as I do, but let me work with you. Let me become this with you. And from that point on, he's taken a lot of my strategies, and the sales have gone up so much in the organization just by getting to know the person first, always being in control of my emotions. And we don't want to call this emotional intelligence, because if I said to you, oh, we're going to have a speaker today and he's going to be talking today about emotional intelligence or character, you're going to be like, roll your eyes. Like, this guy is like, I don't need this. What's this guy coming in here for? We don't call it that. I sell it like that to the business owner because he knows that there's a problems there. But when I go in to the organization, I call it leadership. And I call it self-leadership and leadership, because that's a friendly term. If I say, oh, we're going to be talking about your emotions today and being in control of your emotions, the people are going to get upset. So we're going to go in and we're going to just talk about leadership and but if I make them better because of what I offer, they're going to be able to do more for the organization. They're going to feel better about themselves. And we throw in the emotional intelligence into that whole picture, you're going to be able to achieve so much in that organization or school.
This is really useful. The last question is about the advice. If you had to give just one piece of advice for those who want to master their emotions, what that advice would be?
Spend more time developing yourself than anything else. So many times we want to spend our time building our career and getting more and more knowledge about, and that's important, but spend our time getting a hold of our emotions, personal development, leadership. And a good place to start is my first book, is Character Evolution. You Get my first book, Character Evolution, and you'll be able to understand and gain the awareness of how to make yourself better. Because once you start making yourself better, it's not about if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, because it will happen. Because so many times, if we just keep making ourselves better, like in the field of our business, you'll only go so far. But when you are in control of yourself and everything about yourself and lead yourself well, it's only a matter of time before you will go further in life.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. This is all really very amazing and very useful discussion, very practical tips. And I will myself listen this whole session once again when I will have some time. This is all really amazing and really very beneficial. And our audience in Azad Kashmir and Pakistan will have a lot of benefit from this discussion. Thank you very much for this time and this energy and this exuberance. Thanks a lot from the core of my heart.
It's been beautiful being here, Jabbar. Thank you for having me. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care and have good time.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.